This is a lesson on the pen tool, and this activity is a little easier than the dog activity. So if you're having difficulty, you might want to try this one, at least to start with. They're both worth the same amount of points. But when we talk about the pen tool, we're not talking about this kind of pen. If you use the tool like this, you're going to have problems. It just isn't going to work, and it's not designed to work that way. This is the kind of pen tool we're talking about, a connect the dot type of thing. It's the stalker tool. And so that's what we're going to be doing, is connecting the dots, and you're going to end up making this little simple heart shape, but using the pen tool. So what you see in front of you is a starting and an ending point. You're going to see the direction that I'm going to ask you to go, and you also see these little gray boxes. Well, those little gray boxes are the click points. That's where you're going to actually click the pen, and it'll end up forming the heart. So there's only 6 or 7 of those click points. You also are going to see areas of change of direction. We're going to do that. There's a drastic change that needs to happen at that point. And so let's first of all go get the pen tool, and it lives right there. Secondly, before you start, by default, it's set to fill with white, and that's problematic later on. So let's fix that now rather than later. So rather than white, let's fill it with none, and it also has a stroke of none. So let's give it a stroke of maybe pretty red, and then a stroke of 2, 3, maybe 4 points. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start there. We're going to go this way. Well, when using the pen tool, there's 3 things you got to keep in mind, and this can be tricky. So it's going to take some practice. All right, here they are. Number 1, you got to think of the direction you're going. Where's the next click? Okay, that's the second thing. Where is the next click going to be? Always thinking one step ahead. And then also, how far are you supposed to pull this handle? So we're going to think of those 3 things each time we click this pen. So I'm going to start here. This is my point 1, point 2. So click and hold, and now you're going to pull these out. Nothing's going to draw yet. You're just telling it which direction do you want to go. I want to go towards this thing. And you also want to pull about 1/3 of the way. That's the rule of thumb. Pull about 1/3 of the way between the points. Alright, so now when I click over here, I click and hold. Make sure you hold down. When you hold down, you start seeing, oh, there's my line. And you can start, it's kind of fun to do, but you can start seeing where it's going. Alright, so we want to pull that and make it look pretty. Alright, and we're also pulling kind of towards the next click about 1/3 of the way. So we'll go over here. Here's our next click. Click and hold. And now pull it till it looks pretty and matches up. Okay, and then when you let go, you notice now you had to pull really far, but you also had to pull the wrong direction. Our next click is up here, and we just pulled the wrong direction. So if we were to click, it's going to mess up our line. Well, that's why we put change of direction right here. This is just a note to you that something different has to happen. And so if you look at the cursor, it's a little pen. If you hold down the Option key, it turns into something different. Well, this little thing here with the Option key held down lets you grab this handle independently and start messing with this and telling it, okay, next time go this new direction. Alright, so I'm going to go pull about 1/3 of the way towards the next click, get it the right direction, let go, and now you can click and hold again. Make it look pretty. Go to the next one. Click and hold. Okay. And I'm going to intentionally make a mistake there. I'm going to intentionally go too far off the line. Okay, because a couple things. One, we'll fix that later on. And then secondly, inevitably, you're going to accidentally deselect the line. Oops, oops, oops. Well, rather than just start again, that's going to make a completely new line, and it's going to feel funky. We want to pick up on this exact same line, tie into what we already did before. And so here's how we do this. Look at the little X next to the cursor. When you hover over that point, it'll turn into a slash. Well, that slash means, okay, now I can pull out a handle and go on my merry way and do the same thing. Pull about 1/3 of the way, click and pull, make it look pretty. We had to pull way too far, so we hold down the what key? The Option key. And that allows us to change direction, pull about 1/3 of the way, click and pull, and click and pull, and we end up on where we left off. All right, so we made a big mistake here. No problem. All right, at this point, we're now going to deselect. So just click on the desktop somewhere with the pointer tool, not with the pen tool. And now on direct select, which we learned in a previous lesson, we can now go in and hover over that point, and now we're just adjusting that point independently. Okay, independently. So we can get that looking good. We can start changing the pull point here, until it looks a little better. But you can do those things independently there. All right, so finish it off with your regular selection tool, Fill it in. I'm going to give it a pretty pink. But the idea here is you can see it's one solid line filled in, not several solid lines. We want one solid line. And that's a pen tool. This takes a little bit of practice for sure.